Hi, I'm Chris Pratt, and welcome to the Jurassic World Control Room, where we take you behind the scenes and show you what it took to make this movie.
There's an American Navy man here, part of a research program one of my companies is running. Owen Grady.
I know who he is.
His animals.
Derek Connolly and I have a kind of hero that we felt was appropriate for this film, and we create a mystery and a question that you want to have answered. And so by the time you meet him, you're so intensely focused and interested on who this person is actually going to be. We have Chris Pratt as Owen Grady, who you don't meet until about 15 minutes into the movie, and yet you hear about him and you hear about what he's doing, and we build up the legend of this man. And so when you finally see it, where you rise up and you see him silhouetted against the sun, and then he says, "Eyes on me."
Eyes on me!
As a hero, to have an iconic entrance is kind of a requisite, especially with the kind of classical filmmaking that we were applying to this, because it's a Jurassic Park movie.
Owen! Just wants to teach people some humility.
You know, Owen is an animal trainer, so I started in my research process just talking to people who train vicious animals. There's a guy named Randy Miller out of Big Bear, California. He has a company called Predators in Action, and he trains all kinds of giant animals for simulated attacks in the movies. And so I got to go up to his place in Big Bear. He showed me the ranch, and I got to see him work with these animals. And so some of the finer nuances of controlling the animals and just the techniques, that kind of stuff, I got to see firsthand from a guy who actually does it in real life. So that was one of the ways that I did a little research to try to create an organic bond between man and beast in this movie.
How many lives would that save?
One of the goals with the film was to create a ride that kids and adults could go on and have a very intimate, up-close experience with the dinosaurs. So what was created was the gyrosphere, and it always was a sphere, and it always moved around in a ball, but it never made sense. Up until the very end, we never really asked the question, how does this work? Like, how does this actually function? And if this was in our real world, what's making this move forward? We kind of reverse engineered it, and we went back to the fundamentals of this ball of glass and a wheel on the bottom that was able to articulate in any direction, and a tire that could, with traction, that would move this thing forward. And we felt that as long as this thing felt like it could actually work today on our planet, we would buy it. It does. There are things you can buy, and we had one in the office. You can use your phone to actually navigate, a little ball around. Me having that in the office and seeing the ball move around and actually have traction with the ground and actually work made me feel okay about the whole thing.
Enjoy the ride.
Here we go.
I have a history with motorcycles, and it's not a great history. I fall off them all the time. I've never been a great motorcycle rider. My confidence quickly outgrows my skill, and so I'm tentative for a while, and then I think, oh, I got this, and then I gun it, and then I fall and nearly die. Well, I did a lot of motorcycle training for this movie. It's pretty neat. It's kind of iconic. It's like, I felt like Steve McQueen. I'm riding this old school motorcycle through the woods in the dark, right at the camera, slowing down and feathering the clutch and like looking up at the camera. I don't know. I never really have felt like a movie star before, but in that moment I came close.
We have a sequence that we called Zero Dark Raptor, and that to me was a kind of aesthetic that I know largely from playing video games. There's a look that we have in Call of Duty of moving forward, looking through a kind of grainy video aesthetic with cameras that have been mounted to the heads of these animals as they track down and kill humans. And we thought it would be as scary as it is for me to play horror video games, to to only have the sequence rely on the perspectives of either the people or the animals that were coming to kill them, which we shot in the jungle in Hawaii. We had a lot of different methods, honestly, because we weren't exactly sure which one was going to work. But the stuff that worked really worked. And it felt like these guys were getting taken down by something that was alive. And I think there is a true sense of fear and surprise and shock because it feels so just sloppy and dirty and disorienting, the way that I think it would feel if these animals were coming at you from all different directions. And that was really our goal with everything. If it wasn't truly horrifying, it went out, and we found that actually a shorter version of the sequence was better. We didn't use any music. We kept it silent with only the sounds of blood-curdling death and the screams of hungry raptors. The final sequence was not one that was improvised at all. That was the one time where we actually had to be extremely precise according to a plan that we had worked out months in advance when we did the previs on this sequence. And so using this motion control system, we were able to take our actors through a series of moves that would connect to create long, fluid shots. And they're so big and so epic and so naked that it puts everything on ILM. You don't just get to cut away to something else that looks cool. Every single moment has to feel real. There's a 360-degree shot where we leave Bryce Dallas Howard on the ground, and we come all the way up around two giant dinosaurs fighting and all the way back around the other side and land on Bryce Dallas Howard, who is crawling in the other direction. Not only did her performance have to be perfect, but that shot actually was 3 different pieces, and we would have to bring the camera up into one spot, reset everyone, moving 150 people around in a circle as we try to create this one shot. When you see it in the movie, ILM was able to knit these things together so it feels completely seamless. The second shot that was even longer, basically taking these 2 animals down the street as they crash into the sides of these buildings, we actually put a camera on the back of a motorcycle and drove the motorcycle inside a building, following our actors, and then back outside the building as the camera leaves them behind and finds the dinosaurs. It was extremely complex, and it's not something that I even entirely understand. It involved ultimately hundreds of people to make work, and it's a sequence I am so proud of, and I am so grateful to everybody who was involved, because I just think it's one of the most spectacular dinosaur battles I have ever witnessed, and I won't say ever will, because you never know. Derek Connolly and I had to find a way to do something that would be as visceral and intense and scary and awesome as the ending of Jurassic Park. We learned from Steven Spielberg, and Steven knows better than anyone how to withhold information and to withhold some of the pleasures that exist in the context of a movie until the right moment. And what we knew we had is who I consider both the all-time villain and the all-time hero of Jurassic Park in the Tyrannosaurus Rex. We also needed to combine that with a moment of victory and a brave, heroic move from Claire, who I considered to be the main character of the film because it's her emotional arc that we're following. And when Claire realizes that we need more teeth, it is her instinct to run down and lead the T-Rex to face off with the Indominus Rex. And that to us echoed back to the kinds of big, cheering, bring down the house audience moments that we loved when we were a kid. And it was just us asking each other, like, what would make us just tear the seats out of the theater and burn them in the streets with excitement. And that was it.
You know, seeing it on screen, it's movie magic. And in the process of making it, there are moments that are very surreal and you have a lot of fun, but like anything, like a magic act in Las Vegas, it's work, it's preparation, and to pull it off and to have your audience captivated is the result of thousands of people coming together to you know, make something that's really extraordinary.